Throughout your life, it's inevitable that you're gonna go through some pretty embarrassing moments. They can be anything from simply falling down in public in front of people, to ripping the worst stinker possible in front of your crush. However, these two very different scenarios share something in common, and that would be that when they do rarely occur, I wish I could go back in time and tell my mom to take that plan B. Like, seriously, nothing makes me want to cease existence more than waving back at somebody who wasn't even waving at me in the first place. Do you know how much of a dunce I look like when I'm walking out in public and I see somebody who I can't recognize and they start waving at me and I wave back, only for them to make eye contact with me and then shake their head no? The feeling of turning around to notice that they were waving at somebody who was behind you is one of the most dreadful things on planet Earth. Because not only are you interrupting two people's reunions, but you also look like a friendless loser in the middle of public. Because sometimes some of these people are waving with so much enthusiasm that it would make me think they're about to start emoting. And once I match the same energy, I look like a loser? Probably because it wasn't meant for me. Now that's pretty bad, but what's even worse is when you trust a fart. There are two different types of people on this planet. People who have had this backfire, and liars. I don't care if you have a net worth of $1 billion and you're the most attractive Russian model on planet Earth. Everybody at least once has put a little bit too much trust into flatulence. Like, bro, I swear there's been times where I'm out in public, like a McDonald's, for example, and I think that it's just gonna be a silent one, and it turns out to be the loudest thing ever. This shit sounds like a foghorn. You know, sometimes I'm sitting there in public doing my best to maybe do the spread method where I hope that maybe that'll make it come out silently, and then comes the moment of truth. Yeah, at that point, you're totally cooked, because not only does it probably smell abysmal, one of the worst things to ever enter the human nostril, but at the same time, it's loud, so everybody just will immediately turn their head to stare deep into your soul. See, the thing is, if it's silent, at the very least, maybe you can get away with blaming it on somebody else. Like, if there's a grandma right next to me and I let out a silent one and it just reeks, you know damn well I'm just gonna blame it on her. Shit, she'd probably take the blame too. Old people get to a certain age where you don't even know if you fart or not. I remember that way back in middle school, I was partnered with my crush for a school project, and now we were just sitting in the hallway writing our paper, talking, having a good time, when suddenly I feel the dreaded dirty bubble in my stomach. I was sat down in such a position that if I were to stand up, it would make a little Irish goodbye and slip out without me being able to control it. So I'm sitting there really awkwardly trying to make it so it's one of those silent ones, and you guys aren't gonna believe me when I tell you this, but I was able to get away with it. I farted in front of my crush without her knowing. I was finally at peace for about 8 seconds, and then the smell absolutely took over the room. Now, we were in such an isolated part of the school hallway that it couldn't have been anyone but the two of us. I'd be lying if I said the thought of throwing her under the bus didn't cross my mind. I don't think it takes much of a rocket scientist to figure out that she didn't have any interest in me after that. Now, that's pretty embarrassing, right? But I can honestly live past it. But what I can't live past is when I make a joke with the wrong friend group. I consider myself quite the jokester, but sometimes I'll make a joke with friend group A that only friend group B would laugh at. Sometimes I'll be playing a game with my friends and I'll say something and they laugh at it. They think I'm funny. And then a couple days later, I'll talk to my other friends and I'll say the exact same joke and it's straight silence. So guys, why was 10 scared? Why? Because it was in the middle of 9/11. Hey man, that's pretty f***ed up. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody. After something like that happens, it's pretty uncomfortable just sitting there for like 30 seconds in silence. I think what adds a fair amount of pain too is the fact that I know that the other friend group would have laughed at what I had to say. For example, a couple days ago, I was on FaceTime with my friends and I was yelling chicken jockey. Hey guys, chicken jockey. You're so good. You're so funny. Let me make love to you. And later that day, I decided to say chicken jockey with my other group of friends. And they stayed silent. I know for a fact I just looked like a schizophrenic lunatic. Hey guys, chicken jockey. Am I right?
Can you deadass shut the f up.
Oh, okay. Like, at the very least, the best thing that you can do is give a little bit of a pity laugh. But sometimes the joke is just so bad that apparently it just puts everybody into a trance. Sometimes I'm in the shower or in the bathroom, and I still think about times that I've done this. You know, speaking of the bathroom, this is something that only the boys will understand. Let's go, boys! Yeah. Ooga, ooga, ooga. Okay, maybe girls will understand this one too, but when I'm in a public bathroom, right? Like in a Walmart, the bathroom is completely empty, there's a bunch of other urinals, and some random dude walks in and chooses to go to the one directly beside me. Like, come on, bro. There are multiple other open ones, and you choose to make things as awkward as possible by going beside me. It's just so awkward because I'm constantly self-conscious that the guy is gonna look over and see my wiener. When this type of thing happens to me, it goes a little bit like this. Yeah, that was a pretty awkward few seconds in a video, wasn't it? Now imagine this in real life. I actually came up with a solution to deter this type of thing from happening. One time I was at a urinal and a guy came right next to me, and honestly, I just let one rip. And what I said right after was, sometimes when it rains, it thunders. And so I picked up my little pantaloons and I walked my little ass right out the bathroom. Even if you're alone in a stall and you're dropping nukes upon the ocean of the porcelain throne, it's pretty disturbing when somebody else walks in the bathroom and all peace is broken. If I were to give any advice, it would be avoid public bathrooms because they're gross. Oh God, they're so gross. I just hate when people try and do small talk in places where there shouldn't be small talk, like the bathroom. That is the last place I want to be talking to someone when I have my dick out. You know what? Scratch that statement. I don't really like having small talk with anybody I don't know at all. Like, if I go to high school with you and I run into you in public and you want to talk to me, cool, I'll make a little bit of conversation. But if I'm, for example, just standing in line somewhere and you tap on my shoulder, go, hey, what's your name? Bro, what the hell? I'm trying to get my Chipotle. Like, there was this one time I was in LA and I wasn't having too good of a day, so I decided to go to a taco spot I like. And while I'm waiting in line, some dude taps on my shoulder and goes, wonderful weather we're having today, huh? And I turn around and look at him and go, yeah, it's pretty good. And then he taps on my shoulder again and goes, it's pretty nice, isn't it? Yes, dude, we live in California. The weather is the same all year round. Again, I was just having a bad day, and I'm not the biggest fan of small talk, but I'm trying to get better at it. And over the past year, I think I have gotten better at it, because I'd much rather that than just sit in awkward silence. Like, nothing is worse than when you're hanging out with a group with a couple people you don't really know well. When the conversation slowly dies down, you're just sitting there like, so, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go. This is really uncomfortable. Yeah, Loki, I was thinking the same thing. Now, what have we learned throughout this entire video? Yeah, honestly, a whole lot of nothing. Awkward moments are completely inescapable. They suck. They're not fun. That's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all as always. Follow all my socials, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya. Bye. Linganguli guli guli wata lingangu lingangu linganguli guli guli wata lingangu.